G'day guys, welcome back to another episode. You're watching Flash Like Crazy. Today my pocket carry is the Hanko Damasteel full twist, absolute beauty. Look at that, glorious. This is also the topic of discussion today because this is the light I am reviewing. Let's check it out. Okay, so here it is. This is what your Hanko will arrive in when you buy it from the secondary market or brand new. I'm sure that if you buy it from the secondary market, the person selling it will include the pouch. Now, sometimes you will get a Hanko embroidered pouch. This one isn't, obviously, but nonetheless, it still houses the Hanko very nicely. I'm going to talk about, in this video, a few characteristics of Hankos that separates them from other 18350 custom lights, I believe. There are a couple of minor details that make these lights really, really special. And before I get into all that, let's just admire the look. So this is a Damasteel, and this is in the full twist pattern. See here, full twist. So there's a twist on the head, twist on the body. Looks really, really gorgeous. Damasteel is a heavy steel, very, very tough. And as you can see here, not only does this have a twist pattern, but it also has other patterns. You know, this nice little pattern here. I don't even know what to call that all the way around it. So this light is a very, very, very special light. Now, there is a magnificent clip there with the Hanko Machine Works logo. This clip is tough as anything. It is actually one of the several characteristics that make Hanko lights brilliant. This clip is a very, very special clip. The way they are made is just phenomenal, and they are super, super tough, super durable, and yet super comfortable to slip in and out of your pocket. When you do pocket this and you use the clip holds it in place nicely, but does not stop it clipping in and out of your pants. It's just fantastic, and again, a very clever design. Now, Hankos can obviously tail stand very, very securely. And if you leave it on and put it down on the mat there, you will see, because of the patterning of the bezel, that it is on. Very clever design. And if we just have a look at that design there, that's all it takes. Just those subtle carvings and subtle waves that allow you to be able to see when the light is on. Look at that. Just glorious. Now, these are an 18350 battery, light, sorry. They take an 18350 battery. They take a flat top, unprotected battery. Protected 18350s will not fit. They're too big. So a unprotected cell is what you'll need. Now, just as I do that, as you can see, this is called the Tri-Start. I only learned this the other day. Basically means that the threads are a lot shorter, and so you only need 1 or 2 turns and your Hanko is secure. I like that. It's really, really cool. Some people don't like that, because what that means is it gives them less room to put conversions in it, like single conversions and things like that. But to be honest, I really like triples in 18350s anyway. That's just a personal preference. Okay, so let's go on to the special characteristics about Hankos and why there are a couple of things that separate them from the rest. Okay, so number one, see that ring, that copper ring around, I think it's copper, around the switch boot. That is how you secure the switch boot and the McClicky switch down there. So most makers use an O-ring, and I'll even show you what that O-ring looks like and what that setup actually looks like. So here we go. So a boot, that's a switch boot, and this O-ring would go over that like that and be pressed down there, that opening like that, and the O-ring will be securing the boot. But Hanko, what Hanko has done, Jeff Hanko, is he has removed the rubber ring, the need for a rubber ring. He has created threads Down inside there, he's created threads, and then you thread in and out that ring. That is brilliant. That is phenomenal. And that is one of the many reasons why Hanko lights are built like tanks, like proper tanks, because that is going nowhere. Nothing is getting in and out of there in terms of water or anything like that. That is not shaking around. You cannot pull that out. That is threaded in there, screwed in there tight. You can remove it if you want to swap boots. It's incredible. It's an incredible system. It's just an incredible system for an incredible light, really. That's number one. Now, number two, as I've mentioned, is the clip. This clip is above and beyond when compared to other clips. Not only is the patterning just incredible and would take some pretty decent effort, there is machined into it, like that's actually machined, that's not printed on. Machined into it, the Hanko machine works. As I'm trying to get a good view so that you can see that that's actually machined out and into it, not just printed onto it. I don't know the terminology for machining, I'm sorry. But this clip is so strong and durable, just absolutely phenomenal clip. So that's number two, the clip. Number three is actually the optic. So the optic here, and when I say optic, I'll just be very clear as to what I mean. So I'm talking about that thing there, okay? That optic. Now, this optic is from some other triple, I'm not sure. And this optic is a clear optic that gives you a kind of like a very circular beam profile. Some people love that. They're not my preference. The Hanko optic is frosted and gives you much more of a flood beam profile. And in fact, I will show you the difference. Okay, so here I have a Dawson Machine Craft Starfall. And here is the Hanko. Now, if I just move this off the secondary, okay, so see the optic, see the beam profile produced by the optic? Very clear circle. It does have some peripheral light, but not a whole lot. Very clear circle. As I said, some people prefer that, so I'm not knocking that at all. Some people prefer it. For me, it's not my preference. My preference is what the Hanko offers. The Hanko offers much more of a flood. See that? So there we go. Clear defined circle, much more floody. Now, you'll only be able to really see the realities of that in the night shots when I show you this down in the kitchen later. But take my word for it, the Hanko optics offer so much more flood than the standard optics like this one here. Just by however they make their optics with the frosting and the cloudiness they cause over the optic, it creates such an amazing floody beam, which, you know, in my opinion, 18350s are made for. That's my opinion. You know, I'm still quite new to the custom light world, but 18350s for me are indoor floodlights. For me, they're great for that. 14500s normally are outdoor, more throwy lights, you know, with the DCO's 20 degree and 30 degree optics aside. Most other 14500s are fairly throwy, whether they're 10 degree TIR, total internals, or reflector beams, you know, like a lot of Dawson Machine Crafts and Haiku McGizmos, things like that. You know, even your Focusworks F2 and F3 are the TIR, and they are very throwy. So my opinion, my observation or my experience, what I use them for is 18350s are definitely around the house floodlights, great floodlights. You can take them out, but they're floodlights to me, and I often prefer a floodlight indoors. Now, another subtle but yet brilliant characteristic about a Hanko, and this really doesn't do anything for the build quality or anything like that, but this just shows me that, you know, Jeff Hanko takes this, he's meticulous, and he takes building these lights seriously, and I mean, obviously he takes it seriously, but he enjoys it, And I can see the love being put into it by this last characteristic that I'm going to point out. So when I open this, you see that there's a red O-ring here, okay? And I actually took this apart just to have a look at the engine. It is an H17F driver. It's got, it's been modded to have, and I think Jeff actually modded this one, to have 519A 3500K Nietzsche emitters. But I took it apart, had a look at it, wanted to really have a look at the optic, especially, like I was telling you about, the flood optic. And I noticed something, and it just made me laugh a lot. And actually, this is not the last characteristic. There's one more characteristic I forgot about, which is in here as well, which we'll see right now. So I'll just put this little mat down, and we'll unscrew the pill and the optics there. So the optic, if you can see, I might just get the other optic out of the bag so we can really see the difference. Sorry for the obscured camera. Okay, so there we go. See how this optic here is very clear and this one's a bit, cloudy? That's what gives you the beautiful flood, okay? Right there. Now, so I'm taking this apart, right? And this just made me laugh in such a good way. So I'm taking this apart to have a little sticky beak around. And what do I notice? But I'll just pop the lens down. Okay, what do I notice? But a red O-ring down there where the lens sits. See that? Red O-ring. Okay, so just the fact that Jeff decided to match O-ring colors on the inside of where the lens sits and here to secure your water resistance and things like that around the neck just screams to me meticulous, perfectionist, and proud maker, like love in that. Because I know that there are other makers who do colored O-rings on the neck, but I've never have I seen a matching color on the neck and on the inside of the face here where the lens sits. So again, that tells me that Jeff is really wanting to be meticulous about this and do everything in a certain way. And I love that. When I saw that red O-ring, I just thought, damn, that's cool, man. So that's another little thing that I think Hanko's are just brilliant for. But then I noticed the size of this lens. Look at the thickness of that thing, man. That is super thick. The only lens I have seen that is that thick is in the Haiku McGizmo, because these things are bloody tough as. So I have pulled apart several triple emitters and swapped things around and changed optics and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. I'm not a modder or anything, although hopefully one day. But I've never seen a reflector in a triple this size, that thick. That is thick. That is really, really thick. In fact, I don't even want to touch the other side, either side of it. But that is super, super, super thick for a triple. Take my word for it. I'm not going to pull apart every other triple right now that I have, but take my word for it. That is about at least 1.5, if not double the width there, the width of other triple emitter lenses. Again, what does that tell you? Well, that tells you that Jeff Hanko just takes his work very seriously and builds these lights to absolute perfection in terms of how strong he wants his lights to be. So I am just super, super, super impressed and very, very grateful to have experienced the Hanko magnificence that is from Jeff Hanko's work. Now I'm just going to screw this pill back in. As you see, what I did there was I put the lens on top of the optic first and then started to screw the pill in. And I do it face up as well, just so I don't drop the lens down and then drop the optic down and then everything just goes haywire. And then I end up tightening the pill with the optics in the wrong spot and crushing the emitters and all that sort of stuff. So as you can see there, I've just checked it before I've tightened it, that the emitters are perfectly behind the optics, and then these holes are here. We're good to go. Now I can tighten it. And I'm not going to go crazy with the tightening, but I am just going to tighten it so that it doesn't spin easily. There we go. I felt that very clear stop, and I stop. So They are the characteristics of the Hanko Machine Works that I just think are brilliant. So what were they? Well, number one was the ring, the screwed in ring around the switch boot and the McClicky switch. You can still change McClickies, still change switch boots, but this thing is screwed in tight that has been screwed into actual threads down there. Holy macaroni and double the cheese, please. That is so cool. Now, next is the pocket clip. Brilliant pocket clip. I'm talking super strong, super dense, super cool, and just friggin' super awesome. Next is the optic, the flood optic. I tell you what, this is a personal preference, but for me, Hanko's flood optics are amazing. If it was up to me, I'd put them all in every single triple I ever owned ever. Number 4 is the friggin' O-ring matching. The red O-ring on the neck matching the red O-ring down here. That is just class, number 1A class. Thank you very much. And I've forgotten what number we're up to. I think it was 4 or 5, is the size and the width of that friggin' lens, man. That is hectos molectos. That is so cool to have a lens that thick in one of your lights. I loved it when I saw it in the Haiku, and then when I was taking this thing apart and saw the width of the lens, I just thought, what the heckamundo is going on here? That is so cool. So, look, Hanko Machine Works are the real deal. Not saying that any other companies are not the real deal. Please, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying Hanko Machine Works are fantastic, phenomenal lights built to last a lifetime and then some. And as I've just pointed out, 4 or 5 characteristics of these lights that just set them apart. They're only subtle differences, but they are differences that justify friggin' any price you want to put on a Hanko, to be honest. Not any price, I shouldn't say that. That's silly. But these characteristics that make up these lights are phenomenal. And they're the only ones that I picked up on, okay? I'm sure there are more. I don't know how the Damasteel friggin' Hanko was made. I don't know how this full twist pattern is machined. I don't know how any of that. I don't even know how the clip is made. I'm just enjoying that it's made so beautifully. So there's a lot I don't know. But what I do know about these lights is that they are friggin' awesome. Now I'm going to shoot outside and go to the night shots, and then we'll stop by for a brief chat for final thoughts. See you in a sec.
Alrighty, so that's on the lowest output I've got in the H17F. That's the next one. So already you can see the flood, right? Look at how floody that is. That's thanks to that Hanko optic. There's no distinct hotspot. It's just flood, which is perfect for indoors. Next one up. Look how floody that is. And then I'll just go top. Look at that. The flood on that is amazing. Just amazing. All right, now I'll show the starfall just for some contrast, but just remember, where's the hotspot? You know, yeah, there's more light kind of directed in the center, but there's no real hotspot because it's just beautiful flood. I absolutely love it. I adore these optics. All right, now hang on. Okay, check that out. See, that's the regular optic. See the circle? Still quite floody, but see the circle? It's just not quite the same. And I know these are only subtle differences, but, you know, they're differences that, you know, when you're talking several $1,000s in a light, then, you know, you want your perfect light, I guess. And the Hanko optics just have the perfect look for me. And look, to be honest, this starfall optic's great. Not knocking it at all. It very, very much is useful, right? But I just prefer the Hankos. That's all. And we'll just go back to the Hanko. Look at that. Fan-bloody-tastic. All right, see ya.
All right, so I hope the night shots between the starfall and the Hanko were very telling as to why I like the flood so much, the flood optics. But again, I know several people who prefer the clear optics because they like that tighter hotspot. So it's a personal preference thing. For me, the Hanko optics are the way to go. That's for me.
Now, I'm not going to bore you with repeating myself over and over and over again, but I just want to reiterate that the reason why I am so taken by Hanko lights is because they are built like tanks. But I've got to say, the reason why I don't carry them is also because they are built like tanks. Now, personally, my personal preference, I prefer the Reaver Arm Citadel. That is my preference to carry. The size and compact and weight and all that sort of stuff is my preference. But I wanted to illustrate and really draw out some of the most magnificent parts of Hanko Machine Works that are those points that I pointed out during the review, okay? Now, I'm not saying that these are uncomfortable to carry, and to be fair, I have been, this is the only Hanko I've ever experienced. I have touched another camo titanium Hanko, but I haven't carried it or anything like that because it wasn't mine, so I didn't want to, I left it in the house and that's it until I sent it to my friend. But this one I have experienced. I've taken it out of the house, I think, once, but I didn't really want to damage it because it's such a special light. But it is very heavy. It's a very heavy light, the Damasteel. So, I didn't even weigh it. Give me 1 second, I'll weigh it. Sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 sec. So I'm just going to weigh this very quickly. All right, so we're on 0 with the battery included. As you can see, the battery's in it. Damasteel battery, 171.46 grams. So that's a lot for something this small, it's like 10 centimeters, not even. So, but look, again, I love Hankos for their machine quality, their build, all that sort of stuff. But as I said, they're built like tanks, and that's the reason why I don't necessarily carry them. I'd like to carry something a little bit more sleek, like the Reaver Arm Citadel. That's all. That's, again, personal preference. That's personal preference. Not saying they're a bad light. They're friggin' brilliant light. Brilliant light. Now, if you want one, go to the Hanko Machine Works page and just jump on the raffles or whatever they do. That's the best way to get one. Otherwise, put in search of or ISO post out on Facebook somewhere in all of those custom groups, and you'll find one. You'll get one if you're interested. I'm sure someone will be willing to let one of their 40 go, because Hanko lovers normally stock up on Hankos. Now, and you can see why. Why wouldn't you? Okay, so that's about it. I'm not going to harp on anymore. Brilliant light, fantastic. Pocket clip, same colored O-ring. I just love that. The size of the lens, the ring around, the threaded in ring around the switch boot. And was there anything else I'm missing? And just phenomenal machining and quality and finish. This thing's a bloody tank. Absolutely love it. Oh, frosted optic. Frosted optic. Okay, guys, thanks very much for watching. Till next time, stay cool and stay safe. See ya.